So welcome everybody. We're really excited to have here at the Rec Innovation Lab with us today, guest speaker she's actually given several workshops and presentations now, and she's also a mentor to some of the startups that are being founded here at the Rec Innovation Lab. She's been just integral in helping us to set up an incubator that is really thriving and doing well, and we couldn't do it without you, Gwen. So with that, I'll introduce you to Gwen Franco and let her tell you a little bit about herself and a little bit about the workshop today. So Gwen, take it away.
Thank you so much, Tanya. I will be sharing my screen. And let me enter full screen mode. And can you see it now? Yes.
We can.
It. Fantastic. So hello, everyone. So wonderful to have you all here. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day, your beautiful Monday, to spend this time really working on yourself and for focusing on building your entrepreneurial confidence. Now, we're focusing on this because of the attendees that we have, because of the Rec Center, but really overall, this is just for building your confidence in general. And so I hope you're ready for this journey, because that's exactly what this is. It's a journey in building your confidence and on working on yourself.
Now, Gwen, before we get going, I'll ask you, if anybody has any questions, would you prefer that they put the questions in the chat, or would you prefer that they just jumped in and asked you?
You know, I don't have a problem with unmuting yourself and asking me a question. If you want to type it in the chat, whatever you're comfortable with. The goal is at the end also to have some time for some Q&A. So, but it's a conversation, so feel free to chime in if you have any questions.
All right, thanks so much. And I'll monitor that chat box, Adriana and I, and we'll make sure that we have time at the end then. Okay, great.
Perfect. Okay, so just a little outline of what we're going to talk about. I want to highlight what is confidence, help you understand that definition around it. So because when we understand it, then we can create a plan on how we can build it. And then why is it important for you to need it specifically as entrepreneurs? And then what are some sustainable confidence building strategies that you can do to help you build confidence? So to introduce myself a little bit, Tanya talked a little bit about my work with the Rec Center. I am an entrepreneur. My brand is Craft Leadership. So I work for Hyatt Hotels. And if you see there, you'll see my very first business card that I ever had with Hyatt 13 years ago. I was an HR coordinator. And then you see this line with all these squiggles in between to lead to my current business card, which is Area Learning and Development Manager. So I like how the squiggly lines make it look like it's minimal what happened between those 13 years, but it's been tremendous growth, tremendous adventures and risks that have happened. So I created my brand Craft Leadership about 3 years ago, and being an entrepreneur means that within a company, you have entrepreneurial-like traits. So I can be innovative, be creative, take on my own projects, and kind of create my own identity. And so that's what I've done. And as part of that, in branding myself and the curriculum that I do, focused on leadership development and personal development, I also launched a podcast that was new to Hyatt and became a global podcast listened to all over the company and outside of the company, with 31 episodes and 2,000 plus downloads. So I'm an entrepreneur in the works. From being an entrepreneur, I had a desire to be an entrepreneur, and so I'm in the process of establishing my coaching business and also learning and development and organizational development business. Okay, let's get into our conversation that we're going to have, which is around what is confidence. So this is the definition that is in, when you type in definition of confidence, this is the definition that we have. It's a belief and an attitude about your skills and abilities. And I really want us to focus on the belief and attitude, but I want to know, what are other ways that you define confidence? And if you could type that in the chat, tell me, when you think of the word confidence, what's the definition that you think of? What does it mean to you? I'll just wait, give you a moment, wait for a couple responses. All We have some coming in. Believing in yourself and what I'm capable of, being sure of yourself and your abilities, overcoming internal doubts to take action, bold moves. Yes, thank you, Letitia, Ashveen, Mel, Martin, Rohan, belief in oneself, Haley, trusting self, Billy, living your truth. Yes, yes. Thank you very much, everyone. And for those that continue to share, and all of those, so there's a lot of similarities, right? There's a lot of belief, there's a lot of risk taking, there's a lot of moving forward in those definitions that you're talking about. So confidence is really grounded in the belief of you. Throughout your life, throughout your professional career, throughout your personal life, all of those things, your confidence will be challenged because it's dependent sometimes on task, projects, a skill, or various stages that you are in your life. Think about right now embarking on starting a company, all of that, even the transition from starting college. It could be later on in your career as you take a more senior executive level. Maybe you have to then oversee people in your life, transitioning into adulthood, into then a relationship, family life, all these things. There's different types of confidence that we use, that we step into. What I really want to focus on, though, is building a strong foundational confidence so that when we're in those moments of those different transitions and our confidence is being challenged, we can come back to our strong foundation. Because we're always going to have insecurities, right? No human being is immune to moments of insecurity. Unfortunately, insecurity plagues us consciously and subconsciously. So ultimately, insecurities are being unsure of your ability to tackle challenges. And it doesn't have to hold you back, your insecurities. And that's what we want to work through so that we're resilient and strong and willing to take the risk to tackle challenges. So how do you build confidence? Confidence, remember in the definition, comes from belief and attitude. So there has to be a strong, strong belief, because belief leads to impact. That is what drives the actions that you will do. And your attitude is going to affect the journey while you're in your life journey, right? If you believe you can do something or you don't believe you can do something, that's going to affect the result. So let's really focus on understanding your beliefs, because in understanding your beliefs, you better understand yourself. And this is where I have my little acronym CDC. So I believe that clarity drives confidence. Through the Rec Center, there's various different workshops that have been hosted. And I want to highlight two in particular, which is the Power of Purpose with Gabby Alvarez-Polak. She's on this call. Hey, Gabby. And Having a Clear Vision with Jeff Mata. And I want to tie these in because what the curriculum was what they talked about during this workshop was really searching for purpose and for vision and mission for your company, but not just for your company, but for yourself. So here are some of the questions that they asked throughout this session. And what I want you to understand is that all of it is connected and all of it supports one another in the success of your business, in the success of you, in driving confidence in yourself. These work together to have you create your business and make the impact that you want. Because when you get to know yourself, when you get to know what you're doing, when you get to know why you're doing it, you feel in control. And you want to have strong foundational confidence so that you feel in control and you understand the meaning behind everything that you're doing, and you will execute more confidently. In your journey as an entrepreneur, this is what you wish it would look like. You wish it was a smooth road just like this, but the reality is that there are a lot of obstacles. There's going to be a lot of challenges, a lot of changes. At times you're going to have to adapt, you're going to have to shift, and you're going to deal with a lot of things. There's also a lot of skills, and I have listed here on the right-hand side some skills that you have to use as an entrepreneur in starting a company. So I don't know about you, but I definitely do not have all these skills. And there's a lot of things on here that just looking at them, they intimidate me. They make me nervous because I want to build a successful business, but these aren't my strengths. These aren't things that I'm good at. These aren't things that I even know or have ever done. And I may have to step in and have to do some of these things, and I need to do them well for the success of my business. So how can I use my strengths? How can I still feel confident? How can I still do things and feel good about them? And that's where I really want to focus on building sustainable confidence building strategies. I believe that these strategies help you build a strong foundation so that when you have those things that you're going to do that are going to challenge you, that intimidate you, that you're afraid of, it'll be a little bit better. You'll feel more in control. You will feel stronger than you think you are. These strategies focus on internal and external practices that are going to help you build your confidence. So because building your confidence can be very complex, because confidence, like I said, there's many different sides to it. So because it's so complex, these practices should be done routinely. They should be done, it's a way of taking care of yourself and working on yourself, because you really are the greatest investment. So let's get into these strategies, and I hope I put in the chat, I hope everyone has pen, paper, or if you're typing it in some way, because now is when we're going to start doing some work, and I want you to do the work here so that you walk away from this workshop with something tangible. All right, so the first one is to honor unique you. Don't agonize about what others might think of your work, of you. Concentrate on the unique perspective that you bring. So I want to give you a few minutes here, and I want you to respond to these two questions. So what makes you unique, and what are tangible ways that you can remember this? Be reminded of this. Being an entrepreneur, when you're starting a company, when you're doing anything like that, one of the things is always, there's competition out there. So what am I bringing that's different than what they have? Why am I better? What's distinct? And we may, and you see that I have their little brain and a heart. And so you may think, okay, well, the distinction is the way that I'm going to do it. It's me. But do you believe that? And that's what we want, is we want to have you believe that you are what's unique. So you need to understand what makes you unique so that you can believe that and be reminded of it, especially in those moments when you're feeling doubt. So take a couple minutes. Give you about 2 minutes or so and respond to those two questions. Oh, Billy, yay, you shared positive attitude. I was going to ask if anybody would like to share anything that they wrote. You are more than welcome. You can put it in the chat. Creative ideas. Wonderful. A desire to be of service. Reaction to stress and staying true to myself. Wonderful. What are tangible ways for you to be reminded of this? How will you remember this? And I think we have interpersonal skills, charm, understanding, empathetic, problem solving, resiliency, empathetic leader. Yes, wonderful. So right now we're writing this down, but there are moments when we need this. We need to be reminded of what makes us unique. So I want to share some ideas on how to make it tangible. And it is having it visible, having it available to you and accessible to you. Our telephones are a very, very big tool. So this is just an example of what I do myself. So the one where it's highlighted that says good stuff that feels good, in my work email, I have a folder that is called good stuff that feels good. And I've been collecting emails for, I would say, the past 3 to 4 years. Whenever, if I complete a project or if I do something successfully, or if anybody sends me an appreciative note after I do something, I put the email in that folder. And whenever I am going to do something that I may feel anxious about, or I'm unsure, or sometimes you have off days or something, I purposely go into that folder and read those emails. And those emails reinvigorate me, they inspire me, they motivate me, they remind me of what makes me unique. I also, this is my medicine cabinet, and I have this little Post-it, and I've written these power statements down for myself to really highlight what I do well. So that's what makes me unique. And so when I'm brushing my teeth, I look at those and I read them, and it's a great way to start my day. And these are things that are important to me to use throughout my day that make me unique. And last but not least, in my phone, I have a photo album, and it is named You to Bomb. And in this photo album, I have a bunch of quotes that help me feel better, that make me feel powerful. And I also I take pictures of text messages that friends, family, mentors, whoever it may be, send me when I'm going to do something, and they're cheering me on and they're supporting me. And then there's even pictures of some emails. And so and it's accessible on my phone. So if I'm about to do a presentation or something, and I'll talk about your ritual in just a moment, maybe 10 minutes before, I'll sit there and I'll look at some of these quotes and I'll read some of these emails, and they put things in perspective. They remind me of what makes me unique and help me feel more comfortable and secure in what I'm about to do. All right, next one we have is to practice and have a ritual. So practice builds confidence, and it always tends to improve quality as well when we're practicing something. So having a ritual can also bring focus and manage your nerves. So did you know that the #1 person that you'll talk to most in your life is yourself? That is the person that you will have the most conversations with. So how is it that you talk to yourself? How is it that you prepare yourself when you're going to embark in something new, take on a challenge, take a risk? We really need to try to train like an Olympian. Think of Olympians, think of athletes or anyone, how much time they spend preparing for the 10-second performance that they're about to do. So that's what we have to do, is we have to aim to train ourselves and train our minds in that way. You need to learn how to master your mind, because in mastering your mind so that your mind helps you is going to help you perform at optimal performance instead of hindering you. Because if you're not training your mind on how, when you're anxious or you're nervous, to help you by saying you can do this, and this is how mentally our process, our ritual that prepares you for that, instead of what your mind's going to do is you're going to have that negative self-talk, you're going to have that doubt, and you're going to have that sense of nervousness and anxiety that's going to hinder you from performing well. So I want you to answer these 2 questions. I'll give you a couple minutes for that. How much do you prepare when you are going to do something? And how do you talk to yourself? I want you to create a positive self-talk ritual. So go ahead and take a couple minutes to do that. And if you'd like to share in the chat, you are absolutely welcome. We have Billy. She wrote already, over prepare to a fault. Yeah, Billy. Oh, Christine, you've learned to retrain your brain to think in the positive. Fantastic. And remember how we talked about, it said that confidence is belief and attitude. And so that's positivity, it's an attitude. Absolutely. Power pose, body mind connection. Yes, Caitlin, very much so, very much. I stay self-aware when I talk to myself. I'm a project manager. I like to make a plan. Ooh, you're And right now you're going to move, you're already ahead to the next part. Okay, so let me share some examples of what I do. And so I like to do it one of two ways. I either do power statements or I do power questions, but I have both available based on what I need. And so this is a conversation that I do with myself, right? And my ritual, if it's 10 minutes before I'm going to do something, even if it's 30 minutes before, whatever my time is that I need, but I assess that for myself. So I can do this because, I'm going to give an example of this training. I can do this because I've been training and facilitating for over 4 years, longer than that. I've been a trainer and I've been invested in people's development. I've been preparing for this presentation for over a week and going over it and revising and educating and filling my head with knowledge. Another time I did this was, I've done this repeatedly, numerous times. So this is important to me because I love this community, because I want to help others. I want to help entrepreneurs build their confidence. From this, I will learn from you all. I will learn what your need is. I will learn what's important to you. So I have this conversation with myself, and I know and then some of the questions, I'm sorry, I'll bring it together in a moment, but the questions that I ask myself is this doubt helpful to my journey? So I really start to reflect, right? So I feel nervous, I feel anxious. What if I don't say the right thing? Or what if I don't know enough? Or they ask me a question I don't know the response to? So is this gonna help me complete this, be successful in what I wanna do? So what do I have control of? How true is this belief? Does this belief support the impact I want to make? Who is depending on me? And so when I look at things big picture, but also in that I know my truths, I know what my purpose is, I know what my mission is, I know what my vision is and who I am, I can respond to this, and the conversation in my head shifts. And I feel much more powerful and I feel ready to take on this risk. There will not necessarily be an absence of fear. And I want you to understand that, is that even if there is a sense of fear, I'm still moving forward. I'm still willing to take the risk instead of not. I love this quote from Dr. Tasha Eurich. She says, good questions are like grease in the gears of self-awareness. So it's practicing self-awareness that helps in confidence building. All right, our third one is to be vulnerable. So it's honestly assessing your abilities and know your strengths and shortcomings. Ask for help, be realistic. Remember that super long list of skills that I showed you that entrepreneurs will have to do. And I told you some of those things intimidate me. Some of those things I have no idea how to do or what or where to start or anything. The reality is that I won't be good at everything. And so I'm gonna have to ask for help. So I need to be humble. I need to be really vulnerable. You need to be willing to ask for help. And this helps you also building your confidence, because you're also then not expecting yourself to have all the answers. So if you can answer these two questions, what are your strengths and how do they show up? How can you leverage your strengths when you are feeling doubt? Go ahead and take a couple minutes and respond to this. All right, Billy, you're organized and efficient. And we had Martin up there earlier that had said project manager. So those are strengths, managing projects. Dong, you have interpersonal skills, show through active listening. Fantastic. So those listening skills, absolutely. Strong social skills, problem solving, the ability to come up with swift yet thoughtful solutions. That's incredible, Dana. With that also, I think it's the ability to adapt, communicate, Conflict management resolution. When feeling doubt, I find that it helps to talk it over with a mentor, close friend, family member. Yes, absolutely, Enzo. All right, let me share a little bit of these responses so you can see how the process is in answering these two questions. So this is me personally. So what are my strengths? I'm great at connecting with others, at creating relationships. I'm great at listening to others and making them feel heard. I'm very inquisitive. I love to learn, so I'm always open to try new things, and I can adapt to change. I'm positive, analytical, and love solving problems. So how do I leverage my strengths? How do I use them, right? So I create genuine connections. So with others, so if I make a mistake, people tend to be very understanding. They tend to be very supportive. They won't be so hard on me. If it creates a problem, I take problems as a challenge. Remember, I'm good at problem solving, so I will analyze it and try to figure out what needs to be done. And while I'm doing it, I'm gonna have a good attitude about it because I'm positive. I'll ask a lot of questions, anything that I need to know and learn so that I can do it correctly, better, or fix it. So when I respond to all these things, right, when I know these things about me, and if it's something that I need to have accessible on my phone on a notepad that I need to read through to remind myself, or if it's something that I have on my computer, or if it's just enough that it's something that I can reference in my head, but I need to be able to have this conversation with myself because I can use this to any endeavor that I may take. If it's something that is a physical activity, if it's something that is a professional one, if it's a personal one, I can come back and be like, okay, what are my strengths? What am I good at? And how do I use them? Because that's going to help make me feel confident regardless. There may be other skills or things that I need to do that I'm not as necessarily confident in with this new endeavor. However, these foundational ones are strong enough. All right, our last strategy that we have are your circles. And someone in the chat had already mentioned, I think it was Enzo, you had said that you feel that it helps to talk to a mentor. And absolutely, your circles are absolutely important. So you want to surround yourself with strong circles that build, support, and drive your confidence. And there's 3 circles that I want you to focus on. The first circle is, who are the people that inspire and motivate you? And I want you to write down exactly who they are, write them down by name and why they inspire and motivate you. So how do you hear them and see them? Is it through books, social media, podcasts, etc.? And how often? And you want to answer and respond to this so that you can see how frequently you're putting this into your mind, into your belief system. These people can be people that you don't know. So for example, some of mine are Simon Sinek, Jay Shetty, Brendan Burchard, Warren Buffett, Dalai Lama, Frida. So these are all, different kinds of people in different industries and such. And they feel and inspire me and motivate me in different ways. So I may read books, I may watch videos that they have on YouTube or TED Talks, social media, I listen to their podcasts, whatever it may be. And I want to identify why they inspire or motivate me, because then I can also have a variety of different type of people instead of just one consistently. The second circle is who cheers you on no matter what. No matter what, who? And what do they cheer you on about? How do you hear them, see them? Phone, text, email, video, etc. So these tend to be people you have personal relationships with. So for me, my mother, my sisters, I have some wonderful cousins who are cheerleaders for me, and I know exactly who it is. I know that if I need somebody who is going to encourage me, who's going to promote me and help me feel better, these are the people who's going to do it. I know which friends and which family members to reach out to. I know which coworkers, and I've identified how to connect with them and how often I do, because that's what helps keep me feeling in my confident flow. Last one, who gives you the feedback you need to hear, and about what? How often do you see them, hear them? How do you communicate with them, and how often? What's your frequency, right? For me, I'm going to say two of these people are on this call, maybe more. Yes, actually three of them. So Angela is my boss, and she gives me the feedback that I need to hear with the best intentions to help me be better. My mentor, Gabby, does that for me as well. She coaches me. One of my very, very close friends also does this for me. And I have specific friends, Caitlin, a wonderful friend also. These people are all the ones, and that's what you need also. You need people who are going to inspire and motivate you. You need people who are going to cheer you on, but you also need people who are going to give you real feedback, because when they're giving you the real feedback, that's going to help you improve. That's going to help you. You're putting the risk, you're taking risk, and they're seeing it, and they want you to be more successful every time. But you need that honesty in your life as well. And you can't just have someone who's cheering around you all the time. That is needed at times, but you also need that positive, real feedback. Would anybody like to share? If you want to put it in the chat, I see that we have some comments there, but go ahead and write that down for yourself, respond to that, and then share in the chat if you like to, who it is that you wrote down for yourself. We have in-person Zoom, Joe Rogan, Mom Via Phone, roommates, mentors, YouTube, Leadership First. Yes, my sister, you live with her. That's great. Jordan Peterson, Graham Stephan, Dad, right? This is fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing. Bill Gates, successful in giving, my mentor and sponsors. Great advice. My wife, she tells it like it is. Yes, that's great. And so it's good to know where who these people are and what circle they're a part of. You really, really want to spend the time investing in yourself and your development so you can bring about the life and the impact that you want. The more often you're also hearing these conversations, the stronger that you're going to believe these things. Remember, it's a belief that we're trying to build here, that we're nurturing this belief. Oh, Brene Brown is fantastic. Oh, thank you, Caitlin. All right. So we've gone through our 4 strategies. And so I hope everyone wrote everything down. And this is now just an additional part that I want to add to you, which is a confidence adventure. And another part of building your confidence is in trying new things, is in challenges. So when we take risk, it affects other areas of our life. So it creates a greater ability, a greater belief in our ability to take on any risk, because to take on a risk takes courage. And so you utilize courage to do this. And then have you ever done this where you do something, you're like, oh my gosh, it wasn't even that bad, or I can't believe I did that, right? So you want to experience that more often and feel that more often, so that ultimately what it's going to do is manifest and transcend into other sides of your confidence. And so it helps us in facing our fears. So the next time that we have to face a fear, every time it becomes a little bit easier, because we become a little bit more confident in our ability to overcome the process, to take on the challenge. We want to have a really healthy respect with failure. That's the other thing as well. Failure is inevitable. But if you believe in your ability to overcome the failure, that's going to help you take on more risk. So what are 3 things that you are afraid to do or try? When are you going to do these things? And I want you to commit to 3 things, and I'll share the 3 things that I have committed to. You can share them in the chat as well. But what are 3 things that you could do to challenge yourself to help you in building your confidence in taking risks? Would anybody like to share in the chat? What are the 3 things you would like to commit to doing? I'll share what my 3 are. So mine is I'm going to ride a scooter. You know those scooters that are, I don't even know how much to ride. I'm terrified of them. I'm so afraid of them. I'm afraid of falling and hurting myself. And so I'm going to force myself to ride a scooter because I'm so afraid of it. I'm going to swim in the ocean. I'm actually really afraid of the ocean because it's so big and has so much control. And so I know that in swimming in the ocean, there's also a sense of release of control. So I want to go and swim in the ocean, and I want to build a planter. I'm not a builder person, and I really want to have a planter at my home. Here's a plug for my friend Kelly. And so she's a hands-on crafty person. I'm afraid to use power tools and to cut with a saw and to put wood together and for it not even to work. And so I'm going to challenge myself to use my hands and to build a planter. So you see, these things don't necessarily have much to do with my business. They don't have much to do with what my company is going to be. But there are three things where I'm addressing fears. There are three things where I'm taking a risk, where I am possibly going to have a little bit of failure, hopefully not in the ocean, more in the scooter. I may fall. Building my planter, I could hurt myself or put something together incorrectly. But every time I do something that challenges me, I become more comfortable and more willing to take on challenges, more willing to push myself and to try new things. I see we have a couple of things in the chat. We have anything with heights, public speaking, surfing, mountain biking, becoming a morning person by committing to morning runs, jumping off a cliff. Kiara, just make sure that you're attached to something when you jump off. Want to jump out of an airplane, make sure that there's a parachute on your back. Swim in a lake, learn how to drive a stick shift. That's great. Get a tattoo, skydive, going camping alone. These are great things. And like I said, once again, these are ways that we're working on taking risk into building our confidence and our ability to overcome challenges and failures. Okay, I want you to remember that this is a journey in building your confidence. You can't be good at everything, and you aren't. So please release that expectation. Have confidence in your ability to learn. Have confidence in your ability to overcome. You're stepping into something new, so self-doubt will always be there in building a company, in starting something new, in pitching your idea, in presenting, in speaking with investors, in designing your product and selling it, all those things. There's going to be self-doubt and all of those things. It's always going to be there, but figure out what you're good at and use that knowledge and belief to build a strong foundational confidence. There's going to be those areas where you're not going to be good at those things. And that's when you're leaning on, what am I good at? What's unique about me? How can I remember that and feel that power so that I can step into this confidently? Who do I need to ask for help, or who do I need to cheer me on so that I can feel good, so I can feel supported? So confidence needs to be planted in self-awareness, and you need to have a really healthy respect for failure. And it takes work and it takes time. And that's why you want to practice these strategies. You want to bring them into your daily life, because through that's what's going to create the belief. The more often you're doing it, the more often you're hearing it, the more often you're saying it, you're going to believe it. And that is my presentation. I would love to connect with you. I've shared here all my different ways of connecting. I also have 3 additional workshops coming up with the Rec Center, and you're more than welcome to attend any of them. They will be rooted around emotional intelligence and the importance of that in leadership development, specifically for entrepreneurs.
What a wonderful, wonderful workshop. Thank you so much, Gwen. I really enjoyed that a lot. I appreciate that. And let's go ahead and open the floor up to any questions. We have a few minutes.
Don't forget the Google form.
Oh, yes. I will share that. I will be raffling off, and Tanya, I didn't get to tell you this, but I want to give away 30-minute coaching sessions. Okay. And so I will put in the link a link to a Google form, and you can fill out that information, and I'll be giving away 20. So from that Google form, I'll select 20 people and you'll receive an email with an invite. So
Okay, so the first 20 people who put their information in there have the best chance of getting that. So I would, as soon as Gwen shares that, we can go ahead and put our information in there. And while she's doing that, I will open the floor up to any questions. And I will remind everyone, please do sign up for these workshops that we have coming up. We have three more coming up with Gwen, and then we have other workshops coming up through the rec as well. And we always love to see you, and the more the merrier. So questions from anyone? All right. You're welcome to put the questions in the chat or just to unmute yourself and go ahead and ask the question as well.
Hi, can you hear me?
I could hear somebody, but I don't know who that was.
This is Maria. Can you hear
Hi,
me?
Maria. Yep, I can hear you now. Great. Hi, Maria.
Perfect. So especially going off of like the very last thing that you said, so I've been finding out about myself recently that I tend to like shy away from things. Like I just hate not being good at things. So I tend to avoid the things that I'm not good at because it frustrates me like not being good at things. Like for running, it's like something that I want to get into, but I know I'm not fast, so like it almost is like more discouraging. And I know practice makes perfect, and like I know the things that I am good at, and obviously you have to start somewhere. I was asking maybe if you just had any like tips or just on that idea of like, I don't know, getting past that initial bit of like failure or like annoyance of like not achieving it at the highest potential in the first couple goes. If that makes sense.
sure, absolutely. So I would say, with your example that you gave of running and not running very fast. So you said I'm not very good at running. So I want to understand, what's your definition of being good at running? What is success when it comes to running for you? Is your success, is it speed? Is it doing it? Is it consistency? Like, I think it's a matter of defining what success is for you. And for each task, and is it falling into the best? So is it being competitive in the sense? So I would just figure out what your expectation is of that, and is it a reasonable expectation for yourself? Because we're not all going to be the best in everything that we do, but it doesn't mean that we're not good.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. So I will say also, I have a little bit of that perfectionism as well. And I think that comes with being a little bit of a perfectionist, right? We want to do the best always. And if we can't do the best, it feels sometimes like, well, then don't even try, right? And yeah, that's a tough one for me too.
It is. And I would say I very much have dealt with that as well, because I put tremendous pressure on myself. But I also, all the pressure that I'm putting into myself, I think is hindering me also from enjoying the experience that I'm having.
Yeah.
And so I really have to determine what's more important to me. What do I really want to get out of this? And then bringing everything together around that, the expectation, the actual experience, what I'm doing, all of those things, because I'm channeling so much energy into being hard on myself and that negative self-talk and those things that nothing good is coming out of it. So.
And we have a saying in entrepreneurship, or maybe it's just my saying, I'm like a broken record, but perfection is the enemy of progress, we always say. So we really try to say failure is a good thing. Embrace that failure. With every failure, there's learning, and we just get better and better and better. So I wanted to ask everybody something really quickly, if you don't mind. If you feel comfortable with this, if you wouldn't mind turning on your camera, I love to take pictures of all of us together at these events. So I'm going to put the view to rather than speaker to gallery view, so we can all be on the same screen if I can get everyone to fit. And if you wouldn't mind turning on your camera, then we'll.
Yay, look at everybody.
Oh, I love
I really wish I could do the presentation like this, because I'm just staring at a screen and feeding off myself.
I know, I agree 100%, 100%. All right, so as soon as we have the cameras on, great. I'm going to have everybody, if you wouldn't mind, hi Billy, smiling. And so smile on 3, 2, and 1, cheese. Okay, and I'm going to take one more, and 3, 2, 1, and cheese. Great, wonderful, thank you everyone. Oh wait, I think I have to take even one more. This one, can we be a little goofy?
Oh, okay. Let's do it.
Just one more goofy. And 3, 2, 1, as goofy as you want to be. That's great. Wonderful. You guys are good. Thank you for doing that, for humoring me. And I'll leave it to everyone else. If anyone else has, we have 2 more minutes, any more questions or anything that you want to end with, Gwen? Gwen, if you have any remarks you want to leave us with?
No, my remarks are that we're all a work in progress. And Adriana was, when I was starting this and I asked her, Adriana, how many people are registered for this session? And I think she told me 39. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, 39. That's okay. I can do this. And then I went through my ritual and I went through everything. So I want you to understand that it's not something, there will be tasks, there will be things that you start to do where you're like, I got this. You just go into autopilot and you can just do it. But then there will be times when even I can present in front of people, but if right now you threw me in front of a crowd of 200, I would feel nervous. I would feel anxious, but then I would go through my process and remind myself of why I'm good at what I do and why I do what I do. So remember that. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time and for sharing and for coming. And I love seeing your faces, and enjoy your week.
Thank you, Gwen, and thank you everybody for being here. We'll see you at the next event. I put the link in the chat, so hopefully you'll sign up for another workshop. We'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.